Hello and welcome. This is Sharon McLaughlin from SharonMCL.com, and I'm here today to share with you, are you ready for change? Are you ready for change? And if you are, then there's some simple steps to understanding where you're at in the cycle. So let's have a look at the cycle. Where do you sit within the change cycle? Often, you're either sitting before change and you're not even contemplating it. You're sitting in misery or problems or worries, and you're not really contemplating change, but you're somewhere and you're feeling uncomfortable. When you get to the next stage, you're thinking about it. You're thinking about change. You're looking into possibilities. You're looking into what will work for you. And then when you get to the next stage is key, because when you are either in the just thinking about it or taking action, you are in flow, you are in motivation, you are moving forward. And then when you get to the next stage, which is keeping it going, into that stage where sometimes what will end up happening is all of a sudden you've gone as far as you can go with a particular change, and you either fall off that cycle and back into old habits, or there is a need for a deeper change. Where do you sit in that cycle now? Know yourself so well that you know where you are at. So we're going to use an example of rating your healthy lifestyle. So it's about knowing where you're at in any area of your life. And you can do, this is just an example, you can do this in any area of your life, relationships, career, anything. You can do it with anything in your life. So we're just going to rate your healthy lifestyle. If you could rate it from 1 to 10, and 1 being crying out for help and 10 being over the moon and so into a healthy lifestyle, it's incredible. Where would you be? And it's the first thing you think of. You don't really have to think about it because you will already know. You're either in the 1 to 3 range, which is you're crying out for help. You actually need assistance. You need to seek assistance right now. Or you're in the 4 to 6 mode where you're feeling stuck or you're sitting on the fence. Change has sort of happened and you're sort of making modifications, but you need to do something more because you're just sitting there. And maybe you've been sitting in that middle range for a while and you're looking for maybe a new tool or something to motivate you. So often that's an area that really needs a little boost. And then in the 7 or over, often you're a self-motivated person, and there is a little bit of room for improvement, but realistically you're doing well. So when you know these things, what do you do about it? So again, if you were in that self-reliant stage where you are a self-reliant person and you know how to keep yourself motivated, well then often you're balanced and it can feel easy. If you're feeling stuck and not as motivated, often you're sitting in some trigger, some pain, something that you haven't quite got to the depth of. Maybe it's not a trigger, maybe it's just a feeling of this is no longer working for me. So maybe then the pleasure is too much for you to want to change. An example of pleasure being too challenging for change is where maybe you love chocolate, you're addicted to chocolate, and it's too painful to give that chocolate up. So you are so hooked into the pleasure of it that there's not enough pain there for you to give it up. So a pain motivation would be where you actually are in major health concerns and you know you have to change. There's nothing else. It's getting too painful. There is no pleasure at all. Every time you eat a piece of chocolate, it doesn't feel good. you feel bad. So that means that you're ready for change. So sometimes when you're in that pain pleasure cycle, you need to seek outside source for motivation to get you back on track. Because sometimes you can't see that you're stuck. Sometimes you need someone to point it out to you. And then again, if you're in that stage of really knowing that you are crying out for help, you're in so much pain, you really need to change, then you need to seek help right now. And depending upon how deep that is for you, what type of help you need to seek. But generally, when you're in that depth, you need to seek help from a professional person. However, you also may seek help for these types of things through other modalities, such as, like myself, I'm a trainer, a coach, a consultant. And what I do is I assist you to find your highest potential. So I want you to contemplate where you are. Let's just revert back to that first page that was in where are you sitting in the change cycle. Because if you have fallen off the cycle, know that that quite often happens. And it happens for multiple reasons. Maybe there has been a trigger. Maybe, an example would be when you go through a grieving process, maybe, you're on track with your diet and everything's going well, and then all of a sudden there's a death in the family. And then all of a sudden, or maybe it's not a death, maybe it's just an incident of some description. All of a sudden, it puts you off track, you feel out of balance, and then you find yourself falling off the cycle. And you're no longer keeping going. You're actually in that falling off and feeling you need assistance. Again, it can sometimes mean that a trigger has actually helped you to realise that there's a greater depth that you need to go to in the change cycle. There's more you need to do. So in doing that, it means that you will then become a brighter and find your high potential so much more easily. So in this change cycle, there are tools that you can often call upon. And it is, if you're self-reliant, you may already have some of those tools. You may have learnt particular techniques. I myself have 101 techniques because I have continued to learn for over 26 years. And I have had so many different techniques that I've used to help myself. And I've often gone and learnt them, and then I find myself often teaching what I learn to others so that they can find their way as well. However, if you're not self-reliant, if you're not someone that can learn something from a teacher and then take it on board and use it, and you need assistance, then you really do need more someone like a coach that can coach you through where you're at and to see where you're at, feel where you're at, know where you're at, and to help you to take action. And this is what I wish for you. My prayer for you is to become conscious and choose the highest good in all you experience. And if you'd like my assistance, again, please indeed contact me on my email address, info@sharonmcl.com. And that's the best way to contact me, because then you can share your story with me. The text message normally is for someone where I've set up a meeting and, we're chatting backwards and forwards, so I already know you normally. But the email address is the best way to contact me, or you can contact me through my Facebook site or my website, which is www.sharonmcl.com. I hope this short little video has helped you to think about the ways that you potentially may be in your change cycle. And if I can assist you further, please indeed ask. Blessings be.